Hey everybody, thanks for tuning into my channel, Journey to the Truth and Total Randomness. I Last week I posted a comment under my video about teaching black kids, what it's like to teach black kids by Christopher Jackson. And in that comment, I wrote, believe it or not, I read every comment posted on every video I've ever uploaded. Since this video is almost 4 years old, it still seems to be a topic of current debate. If you would like to hear my personal opinion on the video, then simply give this comment a thumbs up. If I get 50 or more likes, I will upload a video regarding this topic. So, I don't know what I was thinking when I wrote that, but I'm a man of my word, so I got to keep my word and give you my opinion on this video that I made almost 4 years ago. It did receive 364 thumbs up, and my minimum was 50, so people definitely want to hear what my opinion is on this video. I guess my first opinion on it is I want to share like why I felt like uploading this video and making it in the first place. Because back 4 years ago, like if you're on, when people were on Facebook a lot, it's like no matter what article or story you were reading, if you scrolled down through the comment section enough, you would actually see this article posted. Like it didn't matter if the subject was about cars or fruit or the stock market, someone would always post this comment in the Facebook comment section. And it would be like this 9-page comment. And I took the time to read it that one day, and I thought it was pretty interesting. And I felt, well, why not just make a video on it and read it out loud? And I did. Like I went to work the one night, did a 10-hour shift, got home. It was like 2:33 in the morning or something like that, and I just decided to do it. So I copied and pasted the article into Word, and then I read it back to my viewers. And that's why if you listen, you can hear my little mouse clicking in there because I'm scrolling down through Microsoft Word to get to the next page. That's why there's pauses in it. I didn't really put a lot of time and effort into it. I just read it all in one shot, put it up, just to get people's opinion on what they thought of it, if this was actually true, if they've experienced that, why they were growing up in like these majority black schools. And I just thought it was interesting because I've known a lot of black people in my life. I can't call them black friends because that would make me a racist. So I would just call them black acquaintances, I guess. I don't know. But I decided to do a little research on it because as I was reading the comments being left under this video, which I also want to add, this video sat at like 15,000 views for roughly 3.5 years, and all of a sudden it just became popular. It just in the last week it garnered over like 80,000 views. So I don't have TV. I got rid of TV like 11 years ago. And the only media I really keep up with is what I see on the internet. I like to read my news and stuff. And plus I like to just watch what's ever on YouTube and see what's going on around the world. But I guess the topic of race is coming back into the spotlight since this video has garnered so much attention. And I don't really put a lot of effort into my channel. I just do it as a hobby. It got demonetized, gosh, like back in 2014. And that was like after I made my video about the sexual predators and pedophiles in Hollywood and basically in the top tier of the elite societies throughout the world. So I guess I hit a little too home to the to the truth because someone obviously didn't like that. They gave me a strike for that video, and one strike, dude, One strike and my channel was demonetized. Not even the 3 strikes, just one. So, and it's been demonetized ever since. Any kind of message I've ever sent to YouTube, they don't even respond or anything like that. But they leave my channel up, and they've only taken down, I think, maybe 2 of my videos and stuff, and due to copyright claims and stuff like that, even though I was going under the Fair Use Act. But since the images were taken from a foreign country, the Fair Use Act only applies to material that comes out of the U.S., so I guess they went under that premise that they could just, delete the video no matter what. So that's what they did. So, and that really sucked too, because that one video I did about the Paris shooting, gosh, it had to be #1 trending on YouTube, because it got like 94,000 views like within 40 minutes. It was just going off the roof, and yeah, they deleted that one. And but yeah, the video I did on the pedophiles and the sexual predators in Hollywood, which is now actually a topic today, is the reason my channel pretty much got demonetized. That's what I believe. YouTube won't say that, but that's what I believe. But that video is still up if you want to watch it. Something about sexual predators or whatever in the elites. It's in my video list anyway. So, but anyway, I'm trying not to get off a topic. I'm really bad at that. I do get off a topic a lot. But back to this article I read about Christopher Jackson. Like, as I was reading, like I said in my comment, I do read pretty much all the comments that people leave, and some of you are under the impression that I wrote the article. I did not write the article. It's not my experience. It's just something I'm relaying, something I'm reading back in the video format. So maybe you didn't listen, maybe you skipped the first 3 minutes of the video just to get right to the reading part. I don't know how you can miss that, but yeah, I didn't write the article. It was an article, and through my research here, and I saw some of you posted it below the video. It was first posted on American Renaissance back in July 2009, and it starts off with like a big header title at the top. It says, "A white teacher speaks out." So we must assume that the writer of the article was a white guy. And some other websites I went to that had their own opinion about the article, they classified, and it was funny because they all used the same terminology. These other websites, they classified American Renaissance, which is the website, they classified that as a white nationalist journal. And I went to their website, of course, and I read their about page, and they simply are looking for something they call racial reality, I believe. And racial reality is just basically sticking to the facts and the truth about the races and their cultures. I don't know. I mean, I read a few of their articles. I didn't see anything that really popped out and told me, oh, these guys are white nationalists, like kill everybody that's not white. I don't see anything like that on their website. But anyway, apparently it didn't really garner much attention then. But once this gentleman named Marty Nepko of Oakland, California, once he posted it in his blog, that's when it started to garner attention, and it started popping up in Facebook comment sections and other various outlets on the internet. And let's see what his bio says here. He says, "I love being a career and personal coach, hosting work on KALW-FM, a national public radio affiliate in San Francisco, and being a regular contributor to psychologytoday.com, my latest books, my 8th, 9th, and 10th, are the best of Marty Demko, 3rd edition, Modern Fables and Careers for Dummies. Some of my best recent work appears on the blog, but my 3,000 previously published writings and the archive of my radio show are free on www.martynemco.com. And don't worry, Marty, you don't have to, you don't have to give me anything for promoting your name on this topic. If you would rather email me than post your comments on this blog, my email address is mnemco@comcast.net. So this guy, I did a little more research on him, and he's basically, what do you call that? A career coach. And he has made 20 appearances as a career and education expert on CNN Headline News, many on Comcast Newsmakers in San Francisco, and on Bay Area Focus. The one man in a one-man nationwide PBS-TV pledge drive special, 8 Keys to a Better Work Life, a frequent guest on CNN, ABC, PBS, and NPR. You know, that's your basically left-wing media army right there. But funny, he hasn't been on Fox News. I wonder why that is. I mean, this is a guy who posted an article, which some of you are calling racist, and the left-wing media seems to love this guy. They can't have him on their show enough. So, but one of his main outlets here is education, and he's very involved in education and career counseling. So after that, I mean, the rest was history. This article was just out in the net, and I just happened to be this guy that came across it and decided to share it with my viewers. Now, is it all, how can I say it? Is it the real deal? Is it an actual experience from a teacher that was in a high, how can I say it? A high school or a high school environment that had majority black kids? Your guess is as good as mine. It could be totally fabricated, or it could be totally true, or it could be half and half. There's no way to know, because it pretty much, from what I could find, it cuts off at American Renaissance, and that website no longer exists. It stopped existing in 2012. The only remnants I can find of it are this other website where I got the information from, where they posted some of the old stuff from American Renaissance onto their website, and that's about it. The website no longer exists. So people trying to discredit the story because they say it's from this American Renaissance website, and since there's a few people that call it a white nationalist journal, I don't know how that would discredit the story, even if that were true. Like I said, I read I guess you want to call them the ghost files that were reposted by this other website of American Renaissance. I didn't see anything in it that led me to believe that it was a white nationalist website. So their guess is as good as yours or mine. I don't. It doesn't have any bearing really on the article, I think, itself, where the article came from. It would be nice to know who actually wrote it, to actually question the person, is this real or not. But judging by the comments in the comments section, I mean, there's literally hundreds of you that totally agree with what this article says by your own personal experience. And it doesn't matter what nationality you are. It's from what I've been reading. Like I said, I read all the comments. Now, I haven't been able to read all the comments on this one because they've been coming in so fast. But, there's white, black, Chinese, Native American Indians. It's all over the place. And a lot of you totally to 100% agree with what this article says or states. And then there's a few of you, and I'm talking a few, which makes me wonder if you guys are actually telling the truth, that disagree with it. So I don't know. Is the article biased? Is it only attacking one group of people? Yeah, you could probably say it is. Is it classifying? Is it summing? Is it lumping all blacks into this stereotype that they're out of control and they can't learn? No, I think if you're smart enough and you read the article, you understand that this guy is only speaking from his own personal experience. I don't think he's classifying and lumping all the black students in America, or for the world that matter, into this genre of out of control kids. I don't believe that. I think if you've lived long enough, if you're like at least 21 to 25 years old, you've met enough, and you're not black, and you've met enough black people, you know that's not true. I mean, you've met lots of intelligent black people, I'm sure. Lots of very nice and courteous ones that are more nice to you than probably some of your own family members. Um, and I did a little research because I see in the comment section people talking about how blacks haven't really contributed anything to society and stuff like that. And if you're slightly educated, you know that's not true. If you didn't realize this, now I didn't look up this guy's name because there was just so much material to go through, and I didn't really know how to approach this video, so I just started looking up stuff, and there were a lot of great black inventors. You know, Lonnie George Johnson. He actually created the Super Soaker water gun. He actually made that like in 1980. And I think we, as growing up as kids, if you grew up, we all had the Super Soaker. So, and that was a fun gun to have, you know what I mean? Like, especially on those hot days in the summer. And I guess he leased it out to this company, or sold it to this company, and it was like the top selling toy from like 91 to 92 in America. It grossed like over $200 million. And then after that, you know, as the other years went by, you know, it broke like $1 billion in sales and stuff. So that was pretty cool. There was Alexander Miles he lived from 1830 to 1918. He actually invented automatic elevator doors, because in the past, the doors didn't close on their own. So if an elevator went to the 5th floor, picked up its people, and then went up to the 7th floor, the elevator door remained open. And holy shit, you imagine people, if the elevators were like that today, with people with smartphones, they'd be falling down elevator shafts left and right. Well, that actually was happening even back then. If someone wasn't paying attention and talking to somebody, they would walk right into the elevator shaft when the elevator wasn't there, and they would fall. So this Alexander Miles, and this was like over 100 years ago, created the, you know, first automatic elevator door, which actually closed when the elevator wasn't there. Here's an interesting fellow right here, Elijah McCoy, from 1844 to 1929. He developed like an automatic lubricator system that spread oil evenly over a train's engine while it was moving. The invention allowed trains to run for long periods of time without stopping, which both saved time and money. And this is the neat part about that invention. As his invention grew in popularity, inferior copycats emerged. Railway engineers requested the Real Mccoy, so the popular expression meaning the real thing is still used today. So I think a lot of you listening probably have used that expression, the Real Mccoy. Well, that's where it comes from. It comes from Elijah McCoy and his invention for lubricating train engines and stuff like that. Another interesting guy, Louis Latimer, he patented a carbon filament for the incandescent light bulb. The invention helped make electric lighting practical and affordable for the average household. He also drafted drawings that Alexander Graham Bell used to patent the first telephone in 1876. Then you have Jan Ernst Matzelinger. I don't even know if I pronounced that right. It's Matzelinger. So Matzelinger. He was on this planet from 1852 to 1889. He was born in Dutch. I don't even know if I'm going to pronounce this right because this is Dutch. He was born in Dutch Guyana, the South American country now called Suriname. He worked in a machine shop as a child, and then in the 1970s he immigrated to the United States and eventually settled in Lynn, Massachusetts, where he found work at a shoe factory. So think about that. I think that kind of goes against everything, what I think some black people think, about how their forefathers ended up here in this country, because they don't realize there were lots of blacks that were immigrating to the U.S. even though this slavery thing was going on in the South, because it wasn't the entire U.S. that put blacks in slavery. It was just the southern portion. So you actually did have blacks immigrating to the U.S., and I only felt I should mention that because I see that stuff in the comment section below this video, or the last video that I did for, Teaching Black Kids by Mr. Jackson. So in 1883, Jan invented what, and you'll find this kind of interesting too. I kind of find this ironic. But in 1883, Jan invented what many before him had attempted, an automated shoemaking machine that quickly attached the top of the shoe to the sole. The process is called lasting. His machine could produce 10 times what human hands could create in a day. The invention revolutionized the shoemaking industry and made shoes affordable for the average person. I just find it kind of funny because one of the stereotypes of black people is how much they love their shoes and how much they base their sometimes they base their status on the type of shoe they have, or the best shoe. And I've seen comedy skits on it too, like what's it, Keely and Peel or Peely or whatever. I think they did like an episode, but I think it was like with hats or something like that. It was like kind of the same thing. Let's see, Granville T. Woods. He created a communication system for trains called an Induction Telegraph system. This system allowed moving trains to communicate, helping them avoid collisions and dangers on tracks. It also helped dispatchers locate trains. Wood held 60 patents a company and started the Woods Electric Company. And so here, this was like in the 1800s, or the 1900s, and you have, and there's a bunch of these. I only picked a few that I'm sharing with you. But there were plenty of blacks who owned houses, who owned businesses, who were inventors in the 1900s, and they weren't slaves. Granted, some of them did come from whose parents were slaves, but these ones weren't slaves. And another thing I noticed with this trend, a lot of the great black inventors were actually from like 100 years ago. So what happened over that 100 years, because we don't seem to have a ton load of black inventors anymore who are making like these incredible inventions anymore. So it's kind of weird. But I'll get to some of the more recent ones here. George Washington Carver, 1860 to 1943. He created crop rotation, which is like vital to any country. That's just like, for example, what I used here was cotton. Cotton absorbed a lot of the nutrients from the soil. So the next year when they would plant cotton again, it wouldn't grow as well because all the nutrients were taken out of the ground. So he created this thing called crop rotation, where you would plant something that would add nutrients to the ground, like like these peanut the peanut plants and stuff like that, and there were some other types of plants too. And as they grew and then withered away, they added nutrients to the ground, so then the very next year they could plant cotton again, and they'd get a very robust amount of cotton. So that's what crop rotation is. It's just switching to different types of crops on, a few acres of land to add nutrients back to the ground. But he created crop rotation, and he discovered over 300 uses for peanut butter. Now, he didn't create peanut butter, he didn't invent peanut butter, but he found like over 300 uses for it, from ink to hand lotion and cooking oil. Then there was Madame, and for the black women, I found one here, Madame C.J. Walker. She made a fortune on her specialized beauty product line for African American women. She owned multiple homes, a business, and was one of America's first female self-made millionaires. Not a white woman, a black woman was the first self-made millionaire in the United States. Let's move on to Garrett Morgan, 1877 to 1963. He opened a repair business in Paris, Kentucky. He invented, and now this is kind of ironic too, he invented something called a safety hood. I'm not making this up. It made polluted air more breathable. The invention was an early version of the gas mask later used in World War I to protect soldiers from poison gas. He also ended up modifying the traffic signal by adding a third command rather than the old two single system that stop and go. So, but I just thought it was kind of ironic that he, or I don't know what, it's just how funny and weird life is. He created something called the safety hood, and here today, blacks love, black people just like wearing their hoods, and then they refer to ghettos and stuff as the hood. So it's weird how they take something from 100 years ago that was like positive, and they turned it somehow into a negative. But it's just weird that how your history lives on through. I don't know how to explain that. It's like, it's just weird how a lot of people don't know like the origin of hood and stuff like that, where it came from and stuff. So, but anyway, yeah, he's credited with the first gas mask, which was pretty, big. It's a big thing. Then you had James E. West, 1931 to 1957. West went to work at Bell Labs. He and fellow scientist Gerard M. Sessler developed inexpensive, compact, and highly sensitive microphone, which they patented in 1962. Today, 90% of microphones use their technology, including those in cell phones, laptops, and baby monitors, and hearing aids. On top of that, we had, 14 black astronauts. I know some other black inventors. I didn't get time to look off, but just from what I remember on the top of my head, I remember there was the one that created ping pong. So blacks created video games. And there was another one, I believe, who helped build the first IBM CPU computer that was like released like in 1980 or 82 or something like that. So black, and that's the weird part, because as I noticed growing up, and some of the black people I knew, like in the Marine Corps and school and that, they liked computers. They were very good with computers and stuff like that. So, and here you have a black man who helped build the first IBM CPU computer. So that might be just a natural talent that blacks have, is like with computers. They're able to learn it fast. But I just thought that was important to share, because blacks have contributed to society. And if you're just reading that article and taking it at face value, you have to understand that the person who wrote that article, if it's true or not, he's doing it from his own personal experience in a school. But we do have a lot of people from all over the country that have seen that video where I was reading about Mr. Jackson teaching black students, that agree with that's how the environment was when they were growing up. I kind of have to agree with it too, because I don't know if the videos are still on YouTube, but I remember when they used to upload, like almost you'd see them every day. These are black kids acting crazy in the classrooms and stuff like that. Blaming it on poverty, I don't know. I mean, I grew up in poverty. I had three dads. Hell, the first one ran away. The second one died in front of me of a heart attack at age 8. Third one died on 2001 9/11. That didn't make me turn into a life of criminality and stuff like that. It didn't make me a bad person and disrespect others. So to me, I feel like it's a parenting issue. That's my belief, my opinion. What I've learned with people in general, when it comes to the psychology of people, if you take something away from them, that's the only time they'll want it. So take the school away from them. That's what I would do. I would take their school systems away from them, and I guarantee within a few months they'd want it back. It's human nature. You tell them something they can't have, then they want it. That would be my idea, my plan to do it. But there's plenty of dumb white people out there. There's plenty of dumb Chinese, Japanese, Indian. It is how it is. But I mean, I'd at least like to have the truth and share the truth and not ignore the problems that we have in our country. I think that's a big issue. If we have a bunch of black kids that are sitting in the classroom and taxpayer dollars are paying for it, and they're not making anything of it, and teachers are just giving them barely passing grades just to throw them off to the next grade level, just to get them out of their hair, that's not doing any good. And I've seen these documentaries on black kids in Africa where they're walking to school 6 miles a day, and then they're walking back, and they have to get all their homework done before it gets dark because they don't have any light. And then if they want water to drink, they gotta walk 2 miles just to get water. And they're working with computers that were donated by these charity groups, and you have some kids that are building windmills and that. I can't blame poverty as being the reason for kids wanting to act out of control. Kids are like sponges. So however the parents act and however they act towards other people, these kids, they pick up on it. They see it. It's a natural survival instinct. The kids learn from the parents, just like with animals. the puppies, the kittens, they learn from the parents. They pick up their traits because that's what got them this far in life. So if you have a parent that acts disrespectful, is always criticizing the system, the government, the cops, and then it's getting reinforced via rap songs and TV, or maybe a disgruntled black teacher that hates white people, and they're exposed to that, then they're gonna become that. That's just how they are. They're like Play-Doh. They're going to conform to however the parents are and how they teach them. I can't even agree with the statistic of black, or not even black, but like with fathers leaving their kids. A mother is sufficient enough to raise a child correctly and properly. That's what I believe. Having a father around is nice to have, You know, like even with my third father, we barely spoke. I mean, it just he was married to my mom for like 13 years, but I mean, I never, you know, after the first two, I didn't want to get to know the third one. You know what I mean? It's like that was probably my choice, more my choice than anything. But I just didn't want to get attached to another male figure. But then also, I wasn't the kind of person that, you know, probably around 20, I just gave up on male role models to begin with because, hell, you know, if you're my age, like 42, growing up, all the role models you had as a kid, as you saw their lives progress, they all turned out to be druggies and convicts and wife beaters and murderers and stuff like that, you know, from OJ to Bill Cosby. About the only guy I thought was cool that I liked listening to was Denzel Washington. I mean, you can't find no dirt on that guy. You know what I mean? So I thought he was like a proper role model. Um, but most of the rest were just these crazy nuts. Hell, even Pee Wee Herman. Holy cow, that guy was crazy. Like whacking off in bars and stuff. But yeah, as it goes for this article, you know, it's this guy's experience and he's sharing it. Is it like that in other places? Most certainly. Uh, but when it comes to debate of races and stuff like that, you know, I see a lot of some disgruntled people that got triggered by the video. They'll post in, oh, this, you know, you talking about this stuff and there's all these white school kid shooters. I'm like, what the hell does that have to do with it? Okay, so my first thing is what does it matter where the mass shooting is? What does it matter if the kid gets shot in a school, in a restaurant, or in a shopping mall? You know what I mean? And I mean, I did some research on that. I went to motherjones.com and they had like a PDF format and you have to basically go through it and do all the math and figure out the statistics yourself. But after I went through it, I find that, you know, 54% of mass shooters from 1982 to 2017 were white people. 54%. Now that's in a country where white people outnumber non-whites by 81 million people. Okay, who makes up the other 46% of the mass shooters? Check into those numbers. Those are your non-whites. The other 40% who are the smaller population that are outnumbered by 81 million whites. So if you want to do a ratio of one mass shooter to every million people via per race, you're going to see that non-white ratio is going to be a lot higher than the white ratio. So, and it's like I read a lot, I see a lot, I pay attention to what's going on in the world. So whatever you throw at me, I'm going to throw back equally as hard. You know, I used to be on when I was in high school, I was on the state debate team. So I know how to research. My mouth is getting dry. I know how to research things, and you know I know how to hit hard when it comes to facts and stuff. And don't even get me on the white genocide that's going on in South Africa right now. If anybody knows anything about that, if you want to learn about that, watch Laura Southern on YouTube. Or pay attention what's going on with Tommy Robinson in the United Kingdom. Or just pay attention what's going on in Germany, Italy, France, Spain, Sweden. That's crazy what they're doing in Sweden, you know, or Poland for that matter, or Australia, what's going on there. Canada is like doing horrible right now. Those guys, oh, that Justin Trudeau guy they have, or Trudeau, however you pronounce his last name, that guy is like Obama, but Obama on steroids times 10, and he's just as dumb, if not dumb, more dumb. The guy is just an idiot. If you want to see how big an idiot that guy is, go look up his trip to India. Talk about a guy who likes to insult other races, not on purpose, but just because he's so ignorant and he's dumb and he lacks an education. I can't believe this guy is their fucking president. But anyway, okay, well that was my thoughts on this. I put a few hours into thinking about how I was going to go. There were so many ways to go at this and respond to it, but I did owe you guys a video. I don't get a lot of time. YouTube, I just do it as a hobby. So it's not my main source of income. It actually don't provide any income at all because it's fucking demonetized. Because I'm a conservative. So if you have a conservative channel, you don't get any money. You're not allowed to talk. So, but I'm surprised this video is still up. I'm assuming now that it's getting more attention, it's only a matter of time till YouTube pulls it down. But at the same point, government, Trump administrations get a little more involved with the attacks on conservatives by social media. So maybe that's why this video is getting so much more attention, because YouTube might have changed their algorithms again. I don't know. So, but if you like this channel and you like some of the content, the name, the content is in the name of my channel. Journey to the Truth and Total Randomness. You never know what kind of video I'm going to post. I might next week post a video about how to make cookies or something. I just do what I want to do. I don't want to be held to one subject and make my whole channel about this one thing. It'd just be so boring for me. I mean, other YouTubers can do it, and that's the way to do it. If you want to have a successful YouTube channel, all you gotta do is find one topic and then find out how to explain it in 500 different ways in 500 different videos, and I guarantee you'll get over 75k subs or more, and you'll make money. So why everyone's not doing it, I don't know. Well, some people don't need the money, but if someday if I decide to start another channel, that's what I'll do. But alright, thanks for listening. Please hit subscribe if you like it, and that bell thing, I guess that tells you when I upload new videos. So thanks for watching, and take care everybody, and try to get along, I guess.